Dark and Darker test server finally has some interesting changes. As you can see above my head, we have Fame and Request a Night service, but I all know what you're here for. It's the Lantern Shield, and luckily enough, I jumped into a game and we're able to just buy one just so we can at least look at it quite quickly. Sometimes Weaponsmith doesn't have them, and man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Luckily, a little later on, yes, Weaponsmith did sell me some. And I will admit, using shield feels exactly like that. Getting a spike rammed up your ass. I'm not even kidding. After a month or two of messing around with shield in every way possible, we'll even talk about shield slam a little with this weapon. I'm excited they're adding a shield, but also worried it's just gonna feel like before, you know, just never being able to capitalize, taking hits, desync, etc., etc. And my first attempt at using this thing is against a bear. I have no idea what the impact resistance is or impact power, but you did see I get staggered by that overhead, which does make a lot of sense. It'll be interesting to see what weapons you can hold your own against in terms of impact power and resistance. And eventually we do find a willing combatant to try and test out the damage on this thing. But that was the first time I ran into a guy on the test server in my few attempts to try to get someone to swing at me. So 66 damage on that second action. It's pretty good. It's an option, I guess you could say. But you may notice I was struggling, and I was struggling from the get-go with this thing. It is not easy. I am not a longsword god or anything crazy, but the timing is very precise. Not only that, the hitbox on the first swing, as you're noticing, is very, 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 very narrow as well, so you gotta be pretty accurate with it. Also, you can smash this thing into doors. Yes, it does keep its hitbox when you're doing the parry. So if someone's holding a shield up or whatnot, it may be difficult to get around it, or even it's not even worth using. Another interesting note, if you're using combo attack, you may be able to get the 2 hits off with the parry, and then follow it up with a left click from the arming sword into another block. So, okay, there's a lot happening there. That is a lot of information very, very quickly, but I'm excited for it. I think overall there's some pretty crazy changes. I know everyone's freaking out. Like, just take a peek at some of these movement speed penalties we're seeing here. The chest piece I'm wearing is only minus 18. I believe it used to be minus 35, and there are movement speed penalty changes across the board when it comes to armor, which makes a kit like this now allow you to move at 281 when using Swift, which is pretty crazy difference compared to what we were seeing before on fighter class. This is across the board. I think there are some changes to cloth and leathers as well, so this is going to switch up the game a bit. Not sure what to think. This is the test server. Hopefully we get a chance to test these before the new patch, which is literally in a week. A new wipe, and boatloads of content's coming super, super soon. It's exciting to finally see just like a taste of some new things. I love new weapons, and this essentially acts as a weapon at some points, so we did try it with Shield Slam, and as you're witnessing, it is a very, very narrow and short hitbox. If you look at the heater shield and the buckler, which buckler has a decent amount of reach, I know it's hard to see in that instance, has a little bit more of reach, where this one stays pretty close to your body when you're shield slamming. I don't know. I can't say anything about whether it'll be good or not. What I can say is shield slamming in the past was very, very niche. I loved it. Sometimes I felt bad for my teammates because it did feel like I was wasting my time not using second wind with the amount of HP you can recover. But in instances like this, man, did it ever feel good. Having a heater shield to space that barbarian with, pushing it at the right moment, and winning that fight was... It makes Shield Slam so fun and interesting to use. Now you throw this little wrinkle in there with this other shield being able to riposte and deal damage while blocking. A little bit crazy. We did kind of have this fun moment where we let in all these rogues when we accidentally went into a 300 plus lobby, and we all got to spectate this guy running Pulverizing Prayer. This was about a month ago, so they were trying to keep this away from the rogues, but Shield Slam allowed us to spectate that man, which will also probably be a thing in the past. Here's just another example, another trio fight. I did land a Shield Slam. I have no idea if it is the reason why we end up doing well in this fight. Essentially, just imagine all these moments now with a bit more movement speed. And by a bit more, I mean kind of a substantial amount more movement speed. It's gonna really change up how fighter can space, can deal damage. Maybe stuff like Shield Slam with on-hit slows is going to be even more crucial. Everyone's going to be experiencing the same thing. One thing I did forget to touch on is the fact that everyone has what seems to be 18 additional HP. Fighter, if you notice at the start, starts with 118 rather than 100 as we used to see before. So everyone's going to be a little tankier. If armor rating stays the same, and maybe there's some adjustments to true damage and additional damage, that could mean some pretty wild changes for how effective you can be on fighter class. It's intriguing. I am so excited for wipe. I can't wait for that day. I'm finally excited to be able to like talk about like new additions. I know this isn't live yet and it could still change, but I'm excited. I do have one more final important thing to share with you guys. I have never really asked for subs or follows or link my Twitch, but if you could, that'd be great. I am going to do everything possible to keep this channel alive and fresh for the new wipe and going forward with streaming and everything going on. It's busy, but I told myself a fair while ago that I'd give myself 6 months to see if I could make it and see if I could make this successful in any way, shape, or form. So I'm running out of time, essentially. When your family knows absolutely nothing about Twitch or YouTube or gaming or any of that stuff, boy, can it be hard to convince them. But one thing that does talk is, unfortunately, at the end of the day, is money, and whether or not this will even be worth doing as like a part-time hobby thing is still yet to be determined. So look, I appreciate all your support. I'm super proud of where this has already reached. The Twitch has been super fun, the YouTube live stream has been fun, the content has been extremely exciting, and I'll never forget capturing this moment live on Twitch. But going into next wipe, I'm going to do everything in my power to keep things fresh here, try to keep everyone updated on the things I enjoy about fighter class, and just do what I've always done, which is love the crap out of Dark and Darker.